What a game. Santa Monica Studios, please take a bow. You have broken me, made me cry, and feel emotions I've never felt before. God of War Ragnarok was a masterpiece. There's simply no denying that. The ending was truly phenomenal, but I feel it needs explaining what exactly happened through those final sequences. Obviously there's spoilers ahead, so if you don't want spoilers, why are you here? But also don't watch on. Here is exactly what happened and why it happened from the moment you turn back to Sindri's house to plan your final attack. Atreus finally completed Odin's mask puzzle. Thor, becoming immensely jealous of Loki's puzzle-solving abilities, and Odin's admiration towards Loki rather than himself, looked to smash the youngster with Mjolnir. Atreus escapes through a well-placed portal back to Sindri's gaff, and the gang had the mask to themselves. Odin is obsessed with this mask, as he feels it would give him infinite knowledge by being able to stare into that realm tear. Odin has attempted to use this tear before, but it burnt his eye out, hence that swanky eye patch. Odin has become obsessed with the prophecies, and believes they are the only path that one can take. The ability that Atreus has to look beyond the prophecies and carve his own path is what makes him stand out from Odin and get the upper hand over him. The gang know that an attack on Asgard to take down Odin is imminent. Even Tyr decides that he's ready for combat, something which immediately draws concern from Brock. Tyr has always been a pacifist up until now, so it is pretty sus. Upon being interrogated by Brock, Tyr transforms into Odin, who then stabs Brock and attempts to escape with the mask. Kratos manages to save the mask, but it's too late for Brock, who dies in Sindri's arms. This is truly a heartbreaking moment, and one of the most tearful moments in God of War history. Before Kratos blows the horn that will begin Ragnarok, he and Atreus travel to Muspelheim. This is so they can recruit Sutra, who will fight alongside them. When they reach him, he refuses. In order for him to transform into the giant that can eventually destroy Asgard, he must merge with his wife, Samara. Fusing as one will ultimately kill his wife, so obviously he's not overly keen on the idea. Sutra decides that he can sacrifice himself to allow his wife to live on. By fusing Kratos' Chaos Blades with the heart of his wife, which he has in his possession, he can still complete the process and fight in Ragnarok, all while sparing his wife's life. Once this sequence is complete, the two head back to Midgard. Kratos takes on the role of the general and leads his forces into the Battle of Asgard. Honestly, this is one of the best sequences in video game history, so please play it if you can. Odin and his forces target the realm towers to stop any further forces from arriving. Several vital allies, including Sindri, arrive in time to help out Kratos and his forces. One of the most devastating is the mighty world serpent. What we see here is a younger and more powerful version of the serpent. This is the one we saw Atreus create earlier in Jotunheim. Remember that little snake he placed the giant soul into? You're seeing the end result here. The serpent fights with Thor for most of the battle. The battle is so intense that the serpent actually gets sent back in time. This actually explains how it recognised Atreus in the original God of War. As they get closer to Odin, Kratos and Atreus realise that the Allfather placed Midgardian civilians outside of the wall. This is so they will get caught in the crossfire and slow down Kratos' forces. Kratos then alters his plan of action so the people of Midgard can be saved, and no more innocent blood is spilt. This is a far cry from the attitude he had in the Greek days, and a sign that God of War is becoming more human. Thor's wife and daughter, Lady Sif and Thrud, join Kratos' side after this. They are both tired of living under Odin's rule, and know that the time is now to change. Kratos then encounters Thor once again, and the two battle it out. Something about Thor is different this time. The fire and venom from the initial battle feels simmered. Thor seems like a defeated man, who only wants to impress his father. Odin has whittled down Thor, and he's become a drunken and depressed husk of a god, all because of the years of disapproval and mental torture. Odin has made Thor feel like he could not mourn the loss of his children, and that he should be ashamed that he did not solve the mask puzzle. Towards the end of the fight, Thor begs for Kratos to kill him, but Kratos chooses to spare the man's life, stating that they both need to survive for their children's sake. Thor agrees with this, and in doing this, Kratos goes against the prediction made by the Norns. They stated that all Kratos will ever want is revenge and death, just like the Greek god he once was. Kratos now knows he can carve his own path in life, rather than the one created by prophecies. Odin probably should have taken note of this. Odin appears at the end of the fight, and does not choose the same fate as Kratos did. He kills Thor in front of his own daughter Thrud. This sends Kratos, Atreus and Freya over the edge, and they have one final showdown with Odin. Upon defeat, Odin's soul is captured in one of the giant's marbles by Atreus. Kratos lets both Atreus and Freya decide Odin's fate, but Sindri appears and destroys the marble, thus eliminating Odin from existence. The only remaining threat is Sutra, who no longer has control over his mind, and will not stop wreaking havoc until Asgard has been destroyed. Freya's brother, Freyr, holds Sutra at bay while everyone escapes, but unfortunately dies in the process. When everyone safely returns to Midgard, Angrboda shows Kratos and Atreus a hidden Jotnar shrine. This was painted by Kratos' wife and Atreus' mother Faye. It reveals her pivotal role in helping them subvert their supposed destiny. Faye is responsible for destroying the mural in God of War's realm of Jotunheim. She didn't want the two of them to know the fate that the giants wanted for them. Instead, she wanted them to choose their own path, and in doing so protect them. Atreus then tells Kratos what he learned in Ironwood early in the game. He speaks to the giants who are still out there, and how he feels he must find them all. Atreus is clear that he must undergo this journey by himself. Kratos gives Atreus his blessing, stating that he is ready and no longer needs his training or protection. This gives Atreus the go-ahead to go on this solo adventure, while also showing the progress Kratos has made as a father. This is the ending of the story of God of War Ragnarok, but before we descend the mountain and the credits roll, Kratos takes one look behind the mural. This one depicts the story of Kratos arriving in the Norse lands, and his journey with Atreus to scatter Faye's ashes in Jotunheim. It's the final panel which surprises Kratos the most though. Here, he is depicted as being praised by the masses rather than feared. He is shown to be helping rebuild the realms and bringing peace to all of them. The once destroyer of world and gods is now the one who must rebuild the worlds and be praised as a positive god. This is the path Kratos wants now, and he sets off with Mimir and Freya to start this new adventure. There is still much to repair across the realms after the credits roll, but most importantly, the crew attend the Viking funeral being held for Brock in Svolfheim. It's a touching moment, and Sindri arrives just before Brock is sent out to sea. Sindri is fully broken by Brock's death, and he still blames Kratos and Atreus for it. When Brock's boat is eventually set ablaze, Sindri departs to grieve alone. This heartbreaking moment will hopefully be reprised in a later game, as we would hate to see Sindri left like this. The screen turns to black, and the final credits roll. What you do now is entirely up to you, but storyline wise, this is where we leave it. God of War Ragnarok would be the perfect ending to Kratos' story, and would be a fantastic starting point for Atreus' new adventure. Whether this is the last appearance of Kratos as a playable character is unknown as of yet, but if it truly is the end, it has been the perfect way to send him off. Kratos has spanned 5 main timeline games, killed a multitude of gods, millions of demon-spawned enemies, and saved the world on multiple occasions. It's safe to say he deserves a break, and it's time for Atreus to become the hero. For more things God of War, check out some of our guides linked at the end of this video, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to GG Recon Gaming.